So, hello everyone. My name is Dave, and welcome to Just Say It English. And I planned on launching this channel about a week, maybe two from now, but I decided to start doing some videos right now because one of my students from Russia actually sent me a video, and she said that she didn't understand what is being said in this video. And I guess a lot of people in Russia are watching this video, and it's kind of circulating everywhere. So I want to take this video and break it down so you can understand the English that's involved in this. And also, if you are interested in taking English lessons, go ahead and link the click down in the description, where I provide English lessons to students from all over the world. But I do specialize in Russian students, and this came to me from a Russian student. So we're going to look at this video, try to understand it, because a lot of people can't understand a thing that is being said. I can understand everything that's said, but let's go ahead and break this down bit by bit and talk about it. So let's start off.
Remember last time we said he stopped at a gas station or getting.
So he said, remember that time, or I remember that time, because it cuts off the first part. I remember that time where I went to a gas station. So let's go back a little bit and hear this. So that's what he's saying.
Said he stopped at a gas station or getting some gas, and the old fella was over pumping gas. Said he had.
Okay, so he said they went to a gas station and they were pumping gas. They were putting gas into their car. They were pumping gas. And they said there was somebody else there. And it sounded like he said an old feller, which the person might not necessarily be old. So in a place like this, you go, oh, that old feller. It could be somebody that's old or just somebody. So fella or feller, maybe in the South, would be a person, just somebody. So they're saying we were pumping gas and somebody on the other side of us was also pumping gas. So that's what it is.
He had a cast on his leg, had his arm in a sling, his face was all black and blue, and had a big bandage all around his head.
Okay, so obviously this person was injured. They said he had a cast on his leg. So he either broke his leg or sprained his leg, or something happened with his leg, right? So he injured his leg in some way. They said he had a sling, right? So a sling is when you injure your arm, and they have the thing that they put your arm in where it goes over your shoulder. That's called a sling. So he was wearing a sling. They said that his face was black and blue. So they said his face was bruised, right? So obviously he had some injuries to his head, and he had a bandage on his head. So there's a bandage wrapped around his head. So obviously this person was in really bad shape, and they're just explaining what shape they were in. Okay.
And he said, "Daggone, buddy," said, "What happened to you?"
Okay, so he said, "Daggone, buddy, what happened to you?" So basically, what happened to you, I think, is pretty self-explanatory. What happened to you? He said, "Daggone, buddy," right? So daggone, buddy is like kind of like saying wow. I mean, now this is something that is purely from the South, right? You wouldn't even hear this in the North. You wouldn't even hear this in rural parts of the North or out West. This is like, daggone, buddy. This is something from the South primarily. And half of my family is from Mississippi, so I absolutely know how they speak in the South. And I lived in the South a lot of my life. So he's basically saying, wow, what happened to you? Okay.
He said, "I got broadsided by Winnebago."
Dang.
Okay. So he says, I got broadsided by a Winnebago. Now, broadsided means that you were hit by some sort of automobile with like the long part of the automobile. Okay. So if he said, I got hit head on by an automobile, that means the automobile came straight to them. But broadsided can mean that the large side of the car or the automobile hit them. Now in this, he says he was broadsided by a Winnebago. So Winnebago is a brand of camper in the United States. So if you ever see a camper with a W on the side, that is a Winnebago. And a lot of times in the United States, we might just call a camper a Winnebago. So we can call it a camper, we can call it an RV, but it's very common to just say a Winnebago. It's one of those things that the name of the company has kind of taken the form of what the generic things are for that. So that's what he's saying here, is that he was hit by a big camper. We'll go back a little bit.
Dang gone.
And he said, dang gone, like basically, wow. So you'll hear like, dang gone, oh wow, like things like this. And it's just kind of a reaction. That's all it is.
Winnebago, what was you in? He said Flipflops.
All right, so we're gonna go back because I think it cut off a little bit. Let's just re-listen to that again.
Winnebago. Dang gone. He said, Winnebago, what was you in? He said Flipflops. Remember?
Okay, so he said, what was you in? Okay, now of course it should be what were you in, right? So this is one thing I always tell a lot of my English students: just because somebody's a native speaker doesn't mean they know how to use language correctly. It should have said, what were you in? So the assumption here is that they were in some sort of automobile. They're in some sort of car. They're in some sort of truck. The person's just asking, what were you in? Okay, and he says flip-flops. So flip-flops are sandals that we wear at the beach, right? So that's what this is. So he was wearing flip-flops, so he was on the side of the road or in some parking lot or something, and he said he wasn't in an automobile. He was wearing sandals. He was wearing flip-flops. So let's go ahead and just summarize this all. So they start off and they say they go to this gas station. They see another person at this gas station. This person at this gas station, while they're both pumping gas, putting gas into their car, had a cast, had a sling, had a black and blue face, and a bandage on their head. Okay. The one guy looked at him surprised and said, what happened to you? And the person responded, I got broadsided by a Winnebago. I got hit by a Winnebago, okay, by this big camper. And then the other person asked, well, what were you in? What kind of vehicle were you in? And he says, flip-flops. So it means he wasn't in a vehicle at all. He was just standing on the road and he got hit by this Winnebago. So that's it. That's everything in a nutshell. That should help you learn and know what they're saying. So there's a few things you can take away from this. First, Americans a lot of times don't use proper grammar. Okay, what was you in is not proper, right? So it just happens. That's the first thing. Second thing is, when somebody asks, how do you speak like an American? I always say, well, what do you mean? How do you speak like an American? There are many parts of the United States and we all speak differently. The way I speak is absolutely different than the way he speaks, but I have members of my family from Mississippi who will speak just like that person speaks here. Talk to somebody from New York, Boston, California. They're all going to have a different accent. They're all going to have different pronunciations. So to say, how do you speak American is kind of a loaded question, okay? You can't speak American or speak American English. You can speak English with an accent from a certain region, okay? So those are the takeaways. If you're interested in actually taking lessons with me, go down below. I have a link to my website where I offer one-on-one English lessons. So you can go ahead and register and send me a request to do lessons, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. I hope this helps you understand this a little bit more. And I'm going to go through a few more of these videos like this to help you understand kind of the crazier parts of American English. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. See you later.